You can see these 4 types: Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Safari. I've ranked them with Chrome as number 1 for its compatibility. However, if you encounter a problem with Chrome, you can switch to Firefox. Often, this solves the issue, saving time. It's crucial for students to know this. If you face the same problem in Firefox or Microsoft Edge, update the browser to the latest version. You can also uninstall and reinstall the browser to get the latest version, as updates can make a difference. Address the problem step by step. If one browser fails, try another. If none work, update them. For those of you using any of these browsers, if you run into a problem with Chrome, then switch to Firefox and face the same issue, and then switch to Microsoft Edge and have the same problem, what should you do in that case? The best thing is to update the browser to the latest version. You can completely uninstall the browser from your device and then download and install it again from the internet to get the latest version, because updates can really make a difference sometimes. So we need to tackle the problem step by step. If using one browser doesn't work, try another. If none of the browsers work, then it's definitely time to update them. Got it. You can completely uninstall the browser from your device and then download and install it again from the internet, okay? So you get the latest version, because updates can really make a difference sometimes. We need to tackle the problem step by step. If using one browser doesn't work, try the second one. If you've tried all the browsers and none of them work, then you definitely need to update your browsers, okay? If there's an issue, you need to make sure that the internet is always a problem, especially for virtual classes. In virtual classes, we advise strong internet. They say, but my internet opens websites and YouTube. But good internet isn't just YouTube. That's not the measure. Internet has a kind of strength and stability. A good internet isn't just about opening YouTube. Some applications need a stronger connection. Fiber optic is usually better for iPhone, Mac, or iOS users. Safari is best for virtual classes. There are applications, websites, and tools that need a stronger internet connection than the internet that runs YouTube. That is, my criterion is not that YouTube opened for me. That is not the point. And if this is also a good indicator for that, the fiber or optical internet is better here. What is better here? Well, there is another thing. Those who use an iPhone or use a Mac or iOS systems, such as those who use an iPhone, to enter the virtual classroom, it is better for them to use Safari. It's definitely best to use Safari, and it's also absolutely essential to keep the browser updated. This is a very crucial point I indeed wanted to clarify for you to avoid many issues. Now, we're going to start working on something, and that is the assignments. We're going to create the assignments now, God willing. Very, very simply. And you know that I also want to clarify that tests, assignments, activities, research, anything from these things. What does it relate to? If we go back and look together, it relates to the grading center. The grading center, as you can see, includes tests, assignments, and whatever else. So any test, assignment, or activity we create, and since it has a grade, we need to make sure it has a column in the grading center. Why? Because it will have grades naturally. So when you want to create an assignment, for example, how do you go about creating it? Here, of course, my list has a lot of details. The best thing to do is to create a content area. Let's call it, for example, assignments or tasks or whatever we want to name it, like assignments. And since it has a grade, we really need to emphasize this point. There must be a column for it here in the grading center. Why? Because it will naturally have grades. So now, when you all want to create an assignment, how do you go about creating it? Here. Of course, my list has a lot of details. The best thing to do is to create a content area. Let's call it, for example, assignments or tasks or whatever we want to name it, like assignments. I'm going to write May 22 as today just to label my folder. So right now, I'm just going to write like this. Of course, when you write here in the content area, you'll write assignments or tasks or whatever you want to call it, and it must be available to the users. When you create a link here in the link section, it must be available to the users. The users I have right now will be the students in my class. After that, I click on the submit button to create this link called assignments. So I'm going to click on submit. You'll notice that I've created what the link has been created, and you will notice another thing. There is a mark on the left of it, the square, faces, dots, space. What does this mean? It means that there is no content created in the assignments yet. There are no assignments created. There are no assignments. It indicates this link is empty. You just created this link, but it's empty. There's nothing inside it. So when the students go to the section, they won't find this link. They won't see the assignments May 22 since it's empty. It doesn't show up for the student. And when will it show up for the student? It will show up when I start adding content inside it, or create a test, or create an assignment. Then it will appear for the students. So you'll notice that this mark is present, but in this link, for example, there's no mark here. Why? As it means that these tasks have content inside them, or I've entered content into the tasks. There's an assignment present inside the tasks. But if I go into the assignments, you'll notice it tells me that everything is empty. It's time to add content. You have no content. This is also an important point for you when you create a new link. And when will it show up for the student? It will show up when I start adding content inside it, or create a test, or create an assignment. Then it will appear for the students, no problem at all. So you'll notice that this mark is present, but in this link, for example, there's no mark here. This means that these tasks have content inside them, or I've entered content into the tasks. Now, if I go into the assignments, you'll notice it tells me that everything is completely empty. It's time to add content. You have no content at all. So this is also an important point for you when you create a new link. You see the list? I'm scrolling down with the scroll bar to move down to the link below. So there's an assignment present inside the tasks. But right now, if I go into the assignments, you'll notice it tells me that everything is completely empty. It's time to add content. You have no content at all. So this is also an important point for you when you create a new link. You see, I'm scrolling down the list with the scroll bar. I'm moving down to get to the link below. When a student uses their mobile phone, navigation is tricky. I'm currently using a laptop with a mouse, and I can move up and down. So when it's the day of the assignment or the test, it's better to move the link up. This way, once the student enters the course and sees the list, this link will be the first or second item. They won't have to struggle to find it. Some students might say, we didn't find the test link, we didn't find anything called content, we didn't find anything called the virtual classroom, so what should we do? We'll click on the word assignments here, and we'll click with the mouse and drag it up while holding down the button. I'll move the link up so that when students enter the course, this link will be one of the first items they see. They won't have to scroll down to find it. Some students might say, we didn't find the test link or the virtual classroom. Even though scrolling down would reveal it, it's better to make it easily accessible. We'll click on Assignments, drag it up while holding the mouse button, and place it at the top of the main page. Now the link is right under the main page, available immediately. Let's start creating the assignment. Click the link to enter Assignments 22. Here we'll work on assessments to create the test and assignment. We won't let go of the mouse or release it. We'll keep pressing and move up. Of course, we're pressing and starting to move up until we reach the spot where we want to let go. So I'm going to do that now. I'll drag it up to just below the main page, and when I let go, what happens? Now the link is right under the main page. So the link is now available to me. All right, let's start creating the assignment. Now, we're going to click on the link to enter the Assignments 22 section. As you can see, there are what we call assessments here. These assessments are what we're going to work on today, and we'll create the assignment through them. So, through these assessments, we can create the assignment and we can create the test. So simply put, if we come here and say,